Afternoon everyone, no respawns here. So this is Beholder, a game by a developer called Warmlamp Games. I haven't heard of them myself prior to this, however I've definitely heard of them now because this game is fantastic and I think a lot of you will really like it. Now it's not in full release yet, a demo is available on Steam, but they did stress that this is the beta version. So something to bear in mind that isn't fully complete. I've already noticed, not bugs, but quite a few typos, what grammar errors shall we say in the text. But I wanted to give this game some attention because it looks really, really cool for a starters. The art style is very unique and very weird, but also the setting is what really drew it to me. After I saw the images, I had to check out the setting, and effectively you control a landlord who has been installed by a totalitarian state that control every aspect of their citizens' private and social life. So your role is to actually report your tenants to the secret police, or I think it is actually the secret police, though you do actually speak to some kind of official in some way. And it's quite cool. It's interesting. Initially I thought it might be a stealth game in a lot of ways. It is more of a surveillance game, but there's, I guess, very minor stealth elements in the sense that you do find yourself sneaking into people's houses after dark, or at least when they're at work. Now, the demo is surprisingly robust, actually. It's available on Steam. I'll put a link in the description. I've played it for a few hours now and tried various different ways of going about my tasks. I must say that it's a surprisingly complete demo, but also what they've set out to achieve is one of the reasons why I love the indie space. So the main aspect of the game is you're given tasks by the totalitarian state, your bosses, to spy or report or even search the rooms of your tenants. And these tasks have a time limit of generally around 24 to 48 hours. Some of them even have a lot longer. So after that, you get kind of quite a harassing call saying, you know, Comrade Carl, I think his name is, Comrade Carl, hurry up and complete your task. But it's quite interesting because at first I thought that it would be very much a one-note kind of game, in the sense of that you could only play the very loyal, like I almost assumed you were going to be almost passive in the game. Like it was more of a civ management kind of scenario where you're actually playing the evil overlords, and it just happens to be the landlord is just a useful label to ascribe who you are managing the building. But that's not the case at all. You are actually a physical character in the game with a family and also with choices, which I really like. So one thing that struck me when I started playing was the fact is that I didn't have to play the government lackey if I didn't want to. So you can object when you see certain things happening, and also you get to deal with situations in several different ways. So you can go down very much the I am following my evil overlord's route, or you can go down a little bit more of a self-interest route, or you can go a bit more of an altruistic route where you actually try and help the people out. So it's not necessarily it's not massively full of choice in the demo right now, but it does give you quite a few options. Now, reading through how they go on to describe how the game will develop, so you'd get to decide what happens in the sense of that the story will, because it seems to be it is one giant, massive story. Your choices will affect how the story changes and develops, and also your relationships. I've noticed when I've done some things, it has affected how someone has treated me afterwards, and my assumption is when the full product is released that you're actually going to see quite an interesting web of different storylets open up. There is also their suggestion that you don't know what's going to happen with the ending, so they do say in the press back here that it has multiple endings. So how you go about spying or trying to help out the tenants of this apartment building will affect the end result of the game. And also says the choices are going to be tough. And I do believe that, actually. There are quite a lot of... What I like about this as well is it's not just spying. There are also loads of side quests to help with your family, to just generally... things that aren't related to you being the potentially evil surveillance indulging landlord, but actually things like helping out. There was one instance where my daughter needed pain medication, so then I had to talk to various tenants, and eventually one of them gave me my pain meds if I gave her a cardigan. It's really, really cool. I've had quite a good time playing it. And it's what attracts me to the indie scene so much, and why I wanted to do a video on this game, because I feel it definitely deserves a lot of love. So there's also, the main element seems to be quite heavily focused on the cameras and the actual spying. That's, you know, the core of the game in a lot of ways. And right now it's all right. I mean, I said this is in beta, so you've got 3 different cameras available for you to use in the game that you basically set up in the fire alarms throughout the apartment buildings. But you can also peer through keyholes, and then when people are obviously, not when they've gone to bed, you can't, second you open the door when they're sleeping, the people just get up, but you can wait for them to go to work. And the way you work on it is that if you're peeping at someone, or you're watching them through the camera, an action which is prohibited in whatever way will flash at red, and you click on it, and that adds it to report. And that's kind of how you build up these profiles of your tenants, in the fact is that you talk to other people and you'll probe and push them, because you obviously get multiple dialogue choices as well, so you're not necessarily, your hand isn't completely held. Then you have to select these red options that and eventually you get quite a robust collection of information to actually then send back to your superiors. You're not also always getting these people arrested. Obviously, the game does open with someone getting arrested, and that is almost what the state wants you to do the most, but you can also get people fined. I haven't actually tried, because there's also the blackmailing option as well. I haven't tried that yet, though I have seen the option available. So what it is when someone gets when you found something illegal, you can then just go to your desk, right, instead of submitting a report, you can submit a blackmail request, and then you can get money. There are quite a lot of items in the game that you can purchase. That's an area I haven't gone down to that much, because it didn't really seem to impact what I was doing in the game right now. And also you can repair appliances as well. Again, I didn't really see much of use for that yet, but I imagine as you are also, you know, you're effectively the manager of the property, later down the line you're going to be repairing things. There might be even some kind of happiness, because I noticed sometimes tenants are crying, and it shows when they've got little speech bubbles basically, and you can see when they're actually in a good mood or a bad mood, what they're thinking about. I mean, I installed a couple of posters. I'm hoping we get more. So far, I'm really excited for this game. I don't actually know. I think, yeah, the release date is fall 2016, so hopefully we should get it before Christmas. It's available on PC and Mac right now. It does look like the kind of game that I imagine, if it does well, this is just me guessing here, but if it does well in its PC release, I wouldn't be surprised if you'd see it coming to console, because it doesn't seem to necessarily, it's not really necessarily needs a mouse, shall we say. So I highly recommend you guys check this out. I'm going to leave a link in the description to the Steam page, as well as a link to the actual official game Twitter. Definitely give them a follow. They seem to be quite active there, and we can actually hopefully get updates on when this game is coming out, because I'm really excited for it. It looks very, very cool. Anyway, as always, follow me on Twitter at norespawns. We'll see I'm up to. See me complain about just various settlers who keep getting their arms blown off in RimWorld, or just how my sleeping pattern is now completely fucked. And I'll talk to you lovely people soon. You take care.